afternoon, everyone. We are the Group 3 and we are going to discuss the tourism and hospitality network and supply components. So, before we proceed to our topic, let me introduce myself. My name is Jonalyn Chua from HST1B. And let me introduce also my group mates, Froilan Soriano and Mary Ann Balmadrid. So first, let us define what is travel industry. So, travel industry is a tourism and hospitality network which includes both public and private sectors. That is why Gichoy and Mackenz, they define the travel industry as the composite of organizations. When we say composite, it means complexity or complex or it has a several elements. Malawak yung sakop niya. And dito nga po nakapaloob si public and si private sectors. So, this involve development, production, and marketing of products and services to serve the needs of the travelers. So, the public and private sectors, they both connect with each other para mas ma-develop pa and mas makapag-produce pa ng products and services para sa mga pangangailangan ng mga travelers. So, of course, as they develop, as they produce products and services, doon na po ba yung natatapos? So, hindi po. So, there is continuous effort when it comes to marketing. They continuously advertise and promote, ganun po, para po mas makilala pa yung product and services na ino-offer po sa tourism and hospitality. Okay, so next. So, this is the figure of direct and indirect components of the tourism network. We have different categories. So, we have category 1, category 2, and the category 3. So, sa category 1 po, dito po makikita si direct providers. Ang example po itong mga nasa VAX, which is travel agency, hotel, retail shops, restaurants, airlines, and ground transportation. So, bakit po nasabi na si category 1 ay direct providers? Because they represent the sectors of the industry that are visible to the travelers. Visible to the travelers po. So, it means direct to the point. Sila po yung mga nakikita natin agad, nakakausap natin, pwede tayo makipag-associate with them. So, for example po, gusto po natin magpabook ng tour package. We can go directly po sa mga agency and sila na po mismo magpo-provide directly ng mga kailangan ni tourist. Ganon din po sa hotel. If gusto magpabook ng room, you can go directly po sa kanila or you can visit their website and makikipag-interact na po sila sa iyo right away. That's why it is direct providers to the traveler. So, the next category naman po is the category 2, which is support services. It includes contract food services, contract laundry, food suppliers, tour organizers, and travel publications. So, si support services po, from the word itself, it supports directly to direct providers. So, si support services po, katulong po siya ni direct providers. Or yung nabanggit po natin kanina. So, for example po, sa isang restaurant. So, hindi naman po mag-work ang isang restaurant without enough food suppliers. Dahil kailangan po ng mga supply for ingredients, for the packaging, that's why they affiliated with one another. But the support services is indirectly to the traveler. Why? Kasi syempre yung mga food suppliers, yung mga tour organizers, mga contract food services na yan, usually hindi naman na natin sila nakakasalamuha o nakakausap. So directly lang siya pagdating kay direct providers or kay category 1. So proceed naman po tayo sa category 3. So, it is about Tourism Developmental Organizations or TDO. So, si TDO po is affects directly kay direct providers and kay support services. So, naaapektuhan or directly na merong connection si TDO when it comes to direct providers and support services. So, kay TDO or kay Category 3, it composes planners, government agencies, financial institutions, real estate developers, educational and vocational training institutions. So, for example, si direct providers which is yung mga hotels, So, example, kailangan nila ng funds for expansion ng kanilang hotel. So, pwede sila makipag-affiliate or communicate sa mga financial institution or sa mga real estate developers which is under nga ng TDO or nung category 3. So, for the support services is ganun din. So, yung mga food suppliers, mga tour organizers na yan, travel publication. So, if they need help sa mga bangko or mga financial institutions, so pwede sila agad directly makipag-usap kay category 3. So, next naman is indirectly pagdating kay traveler. Why? Kasi tayo as a traveler or mga turista, most likely hindi naman na natin nakakausap yung mga government agencies na yan, mga real estate developers na yan. So, ang mga nakikipag-communicate na sa kanila is yung direct providers at yung support services. Okay po? Malinaw po? So, ayun po ang tinatawag natin na direct and indirect components of tourism network.
Four main categories of tourism and hospitality. First is the natural resources. Without natural resources, hindi ma-enjoy ng mga turista yung pupuntahan nila. Like, pagka-summer season, syempre nakadepende sa beach or sa resort. The next is the infrastructure. Infrastructure is the underground. Ito yung mga dinadaanan o nilalakadan ng mga tao. Like, example, syempre, kung magta-travel tayo, kailangan natin ng maayos na daan, maayos na airport. The next is the superstructure. Ito naman yung above ground. Kasi infrastructure is the underground. And superstructure is the above ground. Ito yung pinupunta ng mga tao for relaxing, for entertainment. Like, for example, pupunta ka ng hotel, motels, restaurant, or shopping center, and so on. And next is the transportation and transportation equipment. Ito naman yung para makapunta ka sa superstructure, ito yung mga sinasakyan mo or para makapunta ka sa destination mo. Ito yung sasakyan mo or susundo sa'yo like bus, taxi, or airplane, and so on. The lastly is the hospitality resources. Hospitality resources, ito naman yung once na nag-enter yung tourist sa isang hotel or you always greet them like hello ma'am and sir and ini-entertain sila like and syempre your attitude ng isang services. Natural resources, ito yung katulad nga ng kanina kung ano ang hanap ng mga turista sa isang lugar like island ba, river, dagat, o iba-ibang scene. Next is the climate. Climate is it affects of enjoyment. Are you, like, for example, are you a kind of tourist ba na kayang pumunta sa snow or kayang lamig sa lugar na yun? Next is the infrastructure again. Ito yung maayos na yung kailangan talaga ng development kasi like for example may kasama kayong senior tapos konti lang mga young or teenager, syempre mahirap naman dumaan sa bako-bako kaya kailangan ng maayos na daan talaga. Ito yung the aspect of attitude, like attitude towards up, attitude and so on. Like ito yung kailangan natin simulan yung good character sa sarili muna natin bago tayo mag-apply sa iba-ibang company. Kasi sa company mo rin yung mga rating, syempre kailangan mo good manners, good attitude, hospitality resources. Ito yung feeling mo once na wina-welcome ka or ini-entertain ka, feeling mo bilong ka sa area na yun. And hospitality training, ito yung tinitrain ka pag kung paano ma-welcome yung mga guests or paano masusolusyonan kung problema, kung ano ang tama at mali.
Transportation. So, alam naman po natin na even before pa that without transportation, we can't move tourists in one place to another. So, very important para makarating tayo sa isang destination, kailangan natin ng maayos na transportation service. So, yan. Sa transportation, we have the land travel. So, pag sa land, ibig sabihin dito sa kalupaan, ano-ano nga ba yung mga transportation service like taxi and limousine service, bus service, rail service, and tricycle or bicycle. So, sa air travel naman, we have the border service. Importante po ito pagdating sa mga air terminals. So, yung mga porters. So, border service, ito yung mga usually na nag-a-assist sa atin pag may mga luggage tayo. Sila yung mga nag-a-assist pag andun na tayo sa airline, sa airport, and usually dapat din. They have exclusive training and supervision kasi syempre direct silang humaharap sa mga turista. So, sea travel as well. So, dito natin masasabi na one of the successful sea travel transportation is yung cruise ships na tinatawag natin na floating resort or floatals. Kasi what you see dito sa land base, converted just sa sea base or tinatawag nga nating mga cruise ships. So, inside the cruise ships, andun na yung mga malls, resort, casino, etc. Napakarami. Kaya nga sinabi na that the sea travel is a major factor in tourism and hospitality. So, ang sea travel o mga cruising, isa rin yan sa mataas mag-generate ng income or revenue sa tourism and hospitality. So, next one is the superstructure. So, dito nga po nakapaloob si accommodation. So, sabi dyan, the demand for accommodation varies according to the price the guests are willing to pay services required and similar consideration. So, of course, if we are kind of tourists na mahilig magstay sa mga destination for several days, like 3 days, 2 nights, so kailangan natin ng enough accommodation, kailangan natin ng maayos na and secure na accommodation. So, we have categories of tourist accommodation na minention natin na din natin before. We have hotels, condominiums, motels, inns, apartment, paradors, pensions, bread and breakfast accommodation. So, napakadami pa niyan. As we go along the way, mas madidiscuss pa natin silang lahat. So, hotel classification, pagdating sa classifying hotels or sa classification ng hotel, we classify them depende sa location, type of guest, price and tariff plan, star category, and marami pang iba. But in this case, so ito ang apat na to ay very important. Hotel within the city ba, malapit ba yan sa mga beach or resort? Kaya nga 'di ba yung hotels ang tawag natin sa nila, resort hotels, beach hotel, city hotel, kasi doon natin ma-identify depende sa kung saan sila nakasituated. So, type of guests. So, yung mga guests ba natin ay VIP guests, mga foreign independent tourists, or mga pre-independent traveler ba sila? So, this kind thing, ito naman po ay mini-mention pagdating pa lang sa housekeeping subject nyo. So, price and tariff plan. So, yung rate natin sa hotel or sa mga room rates natin, nakadepende yun sa tariff plan na napili mo. For example, you want accommodation lang, walang mga food or meals, so you can choose the European plan. And last, the star category. Sa star category, nakadepende yan pagdating kasi sa hotel. We have the no star, we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even 7 star hotel. Ibig sabihin, yung star category na determine natin yan, depende sa facilities, sa amenities, and sa level of service na ino-offer ng hotel. So, we have also food and beverage. So, of course, hindi naman tayo pupunta sa isang destination without considering na ano ba yung mga kailangan natin pagkain, paano yung enjoyment natin, if gusto natin mag-bar, gusto natin mag-party-party. So of course, the tourists are willing to pay for that. Hindi natin titipirin yung mga sarili natin pagdating sa pagkain. Lalo na pag turista tayo kasi gusto natin ma-explore. Ano ba yung mga delicacies nila na in-offer dun sa lugar na yun. So, last, restaurant. Of course, so yung iba, ang ginagawa, nag-restaurant hopping. Nag-empty sila sa mga iba't ibang restaurant na nag-offer ng mga meals. So, ngayon, yung mga restaurant, is very flexible na hindi lang basta restaurant. So, we have fast food restaurant, bar and grill restaurant, mga samjian dyan, di ba? So, ang dami, iba't ibang categories.
So next, here is the sum of the basic standard requirement for restaurants. So it is very important na in the future, di ba, na kapag naging business owner or businessman tayo in the future, alam natin kung ano ba yung mga standard requirement pagdating sa pagpapatayo ng mga restaurant. So number 1, the facades and architectural features of the building shall be appropriately designed. So, pag sinabi po nating facades, ito po yung appearance. So, yung front appearance ng inyong building. So, visible ba yung mga signages? Nakikita ba yung signage ng inyong restaurants? Maayos ba yung itsura? Maayos ba yung architectural features niya? So, that's very important po, no? Kasi sometimes pag nakita ng turista, ay ang ganda ng restaurant. Kasi kitang-kita mo na agad kahit na dumadaan ka pa lang sa highway. So normally, maa-attract na yung mga turista. So number 2, the dining room shall be adequate in size with sufficient and well-maintained furniture. So sa number 2 po, yung dining room po, kung saan kakain yung mga turista, dapat enough yung space and of course dapat may mga enough furnitures, decorations para nang sa gayon mas maging attracted pa para sa mga turista. Okay, so number 3, there shall be a cuisine of good quality and presentation served with distinction. So above everything, importante syempre na yung ihahain mo na pagkain, yung i-offer mo na cuisines, delicacies, is a good quality as well. So dapat hindi lang maganda yung presentation or yung plating ng pagkain. Dapat masarap din. So para naman worth it yung binayad sa mismong specific na pagkain. So last number 4, adequate number of well-trained, experienced, efficient, and courteous staff shall be employed. So, very important yon, no? Na dapat kapag magpatayo tayo ng restaurant, hindi enough na masunod lang yung number 1, 2, and 3. Dapat meron tayong well-trained na staffs. Alam nila dapat kung paano i-handle yung mga customers, alam nila kung paano ipakilala yung iba't ibang menu, and alam nila dapat na mag-welcome and mag-greet kay guests. Kasi, it is the big factor para maging successful ang isang restaurant. Okay? Sana po ay nakuha po ng lahat at naintindihan. And that's the end of our topic. Thank you so much for listening.